Hello everyone. The world is falling apart, but how are you? I'm doing okay. Southern Japan is flooding right now and giant bugs are buzzing in every nook and cranny. I'm pretty sure I saw a cat eating a frog eating a rat. There's also the plague. Stuff is getting pretty biblical. Not to compare how serious it is to anything else, but I'm also taking my second ever break from online Tekken 7, not because I want to, but because I feel like the game is forcing me to. The first time that happened was around the start of this year when Leroy destroyed the meta. Now I think we're having different but also very similar problems. To be clear, I'm still playing the game and writing videos about it. It's just hard to commit to the ranked climb when things are so Did you know that fucking rum is banned in most local tournaments in Pakistan? I thought that would be bigger news. I can't remember the last time a Tekken character got banned like that. This video isn't going to be all doom and gloom though. As you know, I try to be careful about that. No matter how justified anger is, it's always double-edged. It sours your content, darkens your soul. But I think many of you out there have similar feelings about the game right now, so let's feel them together a little bit and maybe even venture getting a tad constructive. I want to talk about what I think are the issues with the way the game is currently being monetized/balanced. Unfortunately, those two things are the same thing and they shouldn't be. Then I'll also talk a bit about how I think we ended up here and how I hope things change soon. To look with sober eyes at the state of Tekken in 2020, there are two underlying truths to acknowledge. If you don't agree with me on these 2 points, then this video won't make sense to you and you won't like it. I'm going to go ahead and assert them anyway because as far as I can tell, they are undeniable and have been for a while. Number one is that the developers are more than willing to break the game on purpose when it's profitable. Actually, that's putting it way too mildly. How about the developers would dance on the battered corpse of Tekken if it was slightly more profitable than just leaving it the fuck alone? I know how strong that sounds, and I often get told it's an exaggeration, but the proof is just there. The list of Leroy nerfs that existed before the character was released, the fact that they faced that much backlash over it and still did the same thing with fucking ROM. Mishima Gate, it's just true. By the way, the rhetoric about how games are expensive to make and predatory monetization is necessary, I don't buy it for a second. How convenient are we to the developers when we think like that? They fuck us over for cheddar and we tell them that they had no choice and we call them the victim. Tekken 7 has sold millions more copies than it was supposed to. It probably made back a huge chunk of its budget in the arcades before it was even available to purchase. The problem is not that games are expensive to make, but the fact that in the corporate world, there is no such thing as enough profit. Number two is that when a character is too good, the community reacts by playing it a lot. The pro players feel forced to pick them to be able to do their jobs. The online players who constantly struggle with this extremely difficult game get a surge of pay-to-win power and become addicted. The ones who try and retain integrity and play other characters get punished by not having fair competition. Everyone loses. The analogy I always see in my head when I think about this is a parent who keeps feeding their kid nothing but candy and soda. You can claim you are just giving people what they want, but in the end you are poisoning something to death. Remember when Book won Evo Japan? He didn't even look happy when the last round ended. He gets up and a giant cup noodle wipe transitions to the commentator's table. Steve and Rip, who I really like by the way and who were just trying to do their jobs, are struggling to sound enthusiastic despite what went down. And there's this whole new range of cup noodle brand stir-fry products all over the table. And energy drinks, and corporate logos in the background. Book goes to get his trophy and in his acceptance speech he almost apologizes. He knew. What a dark and poetic moment. All you need to know right there. Here are some numbers that were just published on character usage and rank in Season 3. They were created by a person called Olba, who has done amazing work like this in the past, and I'm very grateful. If you see this, Olba, I hope it's okay that I use your image. Feel free to comment with your links, and I'll sticky that so people can support you. But this graph shows character representation at Tekken God Prime in Season 3, and we can tell that the two most represented characters by far are the last two to be released. If you look at Olba's popularity numbers, both of these characters are in the top 10 most played in the game right now, while Leo and Gigas have seen continued drops in usage. Now, statistics are famously tricky to interpret, and I'm not going to draw all kinds of conclusions from this, but I want to show it as a strong indication that I'm not pulling this out of my ass and that the problem is not made up. Some quickfire questions based on that, by the way, things I usually get asked when I talk about balance. One, is Leroy still overpowered after the nerfs? I think the answer is yes, and the numbers reflect that. His counter hit game was nerfed, but he still has the mix-ups, main problem being the lows are too good. Down 3-2 is too oppressive and can nullify your ability to punish it even on whiff because of the Hermit auto parries. People like to point out that Horong has something similar, but I don't think that makes it okay. It just means that Horong shouldn't have it either. 2, is Fucking Ram worse than pre-nerf Leroy? I think he is, but it took us longer to realize that because he is broken in ways that are much more subtle. It's less about frame data and more about range and pushback, nullifying your ability to fight back while always resetting Fucking Ram back to his optimal range no matter the outcome of an interaction. 3, would I feel the same way about Fucking Ram if he didn't have the hurt box issues? Yes, I think they are the cherry on a shit sundae, and fixing them only starts to fix him. The game is currently in its least balanced state since release, and it's been there for months. We have almost no news. People keep restreaming old tournament games because the present is too painful to look at. How did that happen? Well, we know that Namco releases characters too strong and adjusts them later. That's established. What happens when you release the broken character but suddenly a global pandemic halts your entire development? You took a dump on your bedroom floor and decided to clean it up tomorrow, but now you've locked yourself out and you can't get in to clean the shit up. Flies are swarming around your house, property prices are plummeting in your area, you're sitting on the porch crying, spaghetti cascading out of your pockets and fanny pack, the neighbors hate you. Don't shit on the floor again, Namco. Fucking Rum was your second chance and you blew it. Then you buffed the recovery of Electrics for no reason and vanished into thin air. The only way a great version of this game comes back around is if the most profitable version of the game is the most balanced. Maybe we can have some power there. We can be the kid who goes, "Thanks for the candy bars, Dad, but I don't want diabetes, so get off your ass and cook me some veg." Don't sell us a broken Kunimitsu next. Maybe buff Leo and introduce novelty that way. You can't sell Leo to us again, but maybe your audience will respect you a bit more. Maybe you can take some pride in your work, or just let us know what your progress is. Maybe. If you want to hear more on topics like this, we are planning a Wave Dash podcast this Thursday the 30th. Nothing is set in stone at the moment, but it looks like it's going to go down. I will be there and we have some fun guests lined up as well, so please feel free to show up for that. Thank you so much for watching this one. I love you. Stay safe.